Alright y'all, we got a little bit of wind. Hopefully that doesn't bother too bad. Probably some dogs in the background. But anyway, this is my 50-hour review on this tractor here, the 3043D. And it really hadn't taken as long as I was figuring to get 50 hours on it. So here we are. So far, I love it and I hate it, which basically is a given. I knew it was going to happen because there's no such thing as one perfect tractor to do everything. Now this does most everything that I need to do. I pulled a plow with it. I run the disc with it. I hadn't bush hogged with it yet, but it'll do that fine because I got a small bush hog anyway. 4 foot. I want to get a bigger one, but let's see. I pulled the tiller with it, and I pulled the square baler with it, and it did real good with that. The only thing with the square baler is it would have been nice to either have a live PTO where you can push the clutch in and the PTO keep going, or either have a hydrostatic model for that where you can just let off the pedal and let it catch up and then continue on. So there's been some times I wish this was a hydrostatic model, I ain't gonna lie. That being one of them. Another one, doing loader work, it's a pain, you know, shifting forward, reverse, and different gears and stuff like that, going different speeds. But overall, I think the manual is a tougher transmission and less trouble to go wrong with it, because we've had hydrostatic equipment and they will tend to give problems with different, you know, pump going bad or O-rings and seals and things like that. So I'm basically as happy as I can be with that part, because I knew it was going to be times that I'd rather have a hydrostatic, but yeah, it is what it is on that. So that's been good. It cranks and runs real good. I've cranked it so far. Coldest morning was probably 20, 22 degrees. Cranked up like nobody's business. I don't have a block heater on it. It's just the engine itself. Does fine. With that, it's real good on fuel. I will say that. I ain't had to put a whole lot in it. You can get, you know, lights on it and stuff. I wish it did have more lights because it's only got the headlights, nothing in the back, and when you're using the loader, your headlights are blocked. So I will probably put some more lights on it myself in the future, but that's something that I wish it had. But storage space, you've got this little compartment here, you put your gloves and stuff. I put that little ammo can up there where I can put my wrenches and stuff in. So far, that's done fine. The loader works good. It actually controls a little bit too fast. Even with it idle down, you hit the lever, that thing will jump. You can make it operate slower and smoother, just barely pulling the stick, but a lot of times it's hard to do that. You'll end up, you know, just going too far with it and making it jump. So I've disabled the safety switch on the seat. It's like a lawnmower. If you get up off of the seat with everything in neutral, then it'll cut off. So I run a jumper wire there and disabled that. And that has made it like a whole new tractor, because a lot of times you need to jump on and off, do something quick, and you flip this in neutral and don't put your range, your high and low range in neutral. You hop up, it'll cut off, and that's kind of aggravating. So it's nice just to be able to flip this part in neutral and hop off of it and do what you need to do. So also with the PTO with that, even if you have everything in neutral and you have the PTO engaged and you get up off of the seat, it will still cut the engine off because the PTO is on. So with that bypass, the PTO will still run. So it's a safety thing I get, but another thing I'm going to do with this tractor next year is I'm going to be running my hammer mill grinder with it. And you can't be sitting on the seat and feeding the corn into that at the same time. So it's going to be sitting stationary with nobody on it, running the PTO to run that grinder. So there's that part. So like I said, I've got 50 hours on it, and I think about between 35 and 40 hours it done its first regen. I guess because I have done a whole lot of, driving it around to move stuff and running fence and moving feed and light duty stuff. And it just built up the carbon or whatever. I run on road fuel in here because it's cleaner burning to try to help with the carbon and stuff. But it went through one regen, and I'm not gonna lie, that was a pain. That was because I was just doing light duty stuff with it, moving a hay bale and stuff when it done it. So it went into regen. So I said, okay, fine. I just let it sit and do its thing for like 15, 20 minutes. I had it revved up to like 20 just sitting there because it won't go any lower than 15 on its own. It'll make itself run 15. But I revved it up to 20, and it probably sit there 45 minutes or an hour and never finished. It'd come down, 5 or 10 maybe of the percentage of soot the whole time it's sitting there running like that. And it's a really bad time of the year for it because it was cold, colder than it is now when it was doing that. It was one of the days and it was like 40s or 50 degrees. And just doing that, I didn't have anything heavy to make it heat up and, like pulling a plow or something like that. So I ended up having to get on it and just take it out here on the road and run it wide open, put it in high range and like second or third gear on the high side and just rev it wide open all the way up to 30 and go up and down the road maybe 4 or 5 times to get it to come down and come out of that regen. So, like I said, the regen didn't go as smooth as I was anticipating. And like I said, if you were doing heavy work with it, running PTO and all that, it probably would have went on and did its thing probably 15, 20 minutes. But that was not my experience at the time. Now, I've got a bucket, I've got this hay spike, and I've got pallet forks for it. And I use all of them quite a bit. Bucket is most common used, of course, and pallet forks would be second, because I only use that, moving hay bales is what it's for. And skinning hogs, butchering hogs, I would take and lift them up with the hay spike there with the, chocks or whatever you call them, hobbles, I think maybe, to hang them up by the feet, hang them on them 2 spikes on the bottom and pick it up. So I do use it for that. But ballast weight is a big deal on this thing. The tires are filled. Most of the time when I'm using the loader, I ain't got nothing on the back, and so it doesn't perform as good as it should. An example, yesterday and the day before, I brought a big load of cedars home for 2 days, 2 loads of cedars from the woods, and they are heavy and they're long, and it would only pick up about 1 or 2 of them. The real big ones, it would only pick up 1. Smaller ones, it get 2 or 3 with no ballast weight on the back. The loader just wouldn't pick them up. You pull a lever, nothing happens. So I got that load unloaded, and they're 17 foot long, so they're pretty good size. Yesterday, before I unloaded them, you see I got that little hitch thing on the back, and I got a luggage rack that I'll put in there to move stuff, haul stuff around with me, like you put on the back of an SUV and stuff like that. And I filled up 4 buckets, with tops on them and everything, of water, and set them on that rack. And just that little bit of weight there did help a whole lot. I don't have an actual ballast box or anything like that. I've got some different, equipment that I could put on there, but I just never take the time to do it. I'd like to have something quick that you could just throw on there, like a ballast box or something, where it doesn't hang off the back 6 feet, where if you're doing tight loader work, then you're bumping into stuff. But what I really want to get, but farming is expensive, is a box blade where I can put on the back of there, and it doesn't take up a lot of room, doesn't hang off a lot on the back, and you can actually hang those suitcase weights, I think they're called, on the box blade itself. So you can kind of get a 2-in-1. You get a tool you can use and a ballast box. So thinking about starting a GoFundMe called Farming Ain't Cheap. So let me know if any of y'all want to donate to that. But yeah, other than that, I haven't had any problems with it. It cranks, runs like it's supposed to. It does a really good job for a tractor this size. Like I said, this is probably about the perfect size for us having one tractor, which we have another tractor. But if you was just picking one for normal homestead stuff, you know, feeding cows, running fence, you know, moving dirt around, plowing the garden, stuff like that, you're going to be good. Even running a square baler. Now, I'm not sure about cutting hay, if you'd be able to do that with this, because, you know, I've got a 9-foot hay bind, and the PTO would probably pull it, but the bind is just so big and heavy. Now, if you could run a sickle bar off of it with no trouble, but they're hard to find, and really they're a pain in the butt to use. They've got a new thing now, which I don't know how heavy it would be. Those drum cutters, they go on a 3-point hitch, and they work like a disc bind kind of. They just have the cutting. They don't have the bind part where it mashes the juice out of it and all. That might work. I think they got different lengths in them. I know I've seen 6-foot. They may have a 5-foot or something like that, and you know, a smaller thing that would work for it or something. But I can't tell you yes or no right off the top of my head on that. I don't have any experience with that. I imagine that thing will run a 6-foot bush hog, but I haven't got one to try it with. Like I said, I just hadn't got around to doing it. There's probably a whole lot of things more I'm going to learn about this tractor in the future. Things I like and don't like, what it will and will not do, and all that. 4-wheel drive works good. I use that a lot, pretty much all the time. It's locked in because honestly, in 2-wheel drive, it really won't go a whole lot of places, which I got those R4 tires. I don't have ag tires on there. But, you know, if you get a little hump or something where it's uneven, it'll get to spinning, or, you know, you got something on the loader and all, it'll get to spinning. So I use 4-wheel drive quite a bit. And like I said, I haven't done anything to it except change the headlights out. I put the LED bulbs in there. The regular standard bulbs that come in that thing, they're just crap. I mean, you can't see very good with them at all. But like I said, even with those, you're still limited because that loader blocks, you know, where you got the loader where you can see how to drive it, you're blocking all of your headlights. When you bring in a hay bale, or, you know, the bucket, you can get around it, you can lower it or raise it most of the time to have a little spot to see through. But when you got a bale of hay on the front, there just ain't no way to see around that. The headlights are completely blocked. So, yeah. There we go. I guess that about do it for the 50-hour review. Probably in the next update, it'll be about 75 hours, and plan on doing a service then, change of oil, stuff like that. I've already, you know, been greasing it and stuff like that. You got to grease stuff pretty often if you want to keep it working right. So, yeah, if you got any questions about it or something, maybe I can help you out with or whatever, just let me know. But other than that, that'll do it for this one. Stay prepped up, prayed up, and strapped up. See ya.